Hey everybody, welcome back. I got some explaining to do on what the problem may be. All right, don't be jealous of my artwork because this is 4 years of college. Just kidding. So, yes, I know this looks like a Harley V twin with a Summit Racing big oil pan on it. I mean, race car. So, what we're looking at here is the front of the engine, obviously, and this is the V of the engine. And this is the intake, and this is like the valley right here. The water pump goes right here, and behind the water pump is this lovely little gadget Jaguar has invented that kind of just connects to the back of the water pump just like this. And you have to clock it a right way so that once the car heats up, it doesn't push out of it due to the antifreeze pressure in the system. Makes sense, right? A little bit over-engineered. I don't know why they did this, but again, it plugs into the back and just plugs into something else that disappears underneath the intake. Thank you, Jaguar. Again, this engine's awesome. I love this engine. But some of the things that have been done to kind of cut corners is a little, why would you do that? And there's no room to work in this thing. But that is obvious because there are no like do-it-yourselfers, DIYers, doing this kind of stuff. Very little, but most of it is overseas, like in the UK, in some guy's garage. Which some of that is helpful, but they're older XKs, like with the 4.2 liter V8, and most of them are supercharged. And the forums are kind of splotchy on all this stuff because, again, nobody has the time or the patience to work on this stuff. They just take it to a dealer and get charged the Jaguar tax. So that's why they got me to explain all this stuff. Hopefully this helps you guys, especially someone who just bought this and they're having cooling issues. So yeah, this appears somewhere underneath there. That's why I drew this. Okay, so you got the water pump right here. This is the back of the engine, right? Firewall, basically, driver's seat. And then you got this doohickey that, yes, it goes this way. And again, like I said, over here, it disappears underneath the valley. Now, supposedly, there is another coolant pipe that kind of goes to the cylinder heads or something. Again, can't really find any of this stuff. I can find the part, but I can't really find the diagrams to see what's this is connected to. So this is called the valley pipe. Yeah, I'll explain it. Back over to this. V is for valley. And in the valley, there's a pipe. We'll call the pipe the squiggly thing. Yep. So here's my theory. I've replaced the water pump and this doohickey. Right there. I drove it for probably a solid 30 minutes once I buttoned everything back together. I tried to burble the coolant as much as I can, get all the air out, and absolutely zero coolant leaks until I parked it. I was hammering on this thing, for a good 30 minutes. Got it up to temperature, 185, 190. Perfect, and it held that. So I'm thinking winter chicken dinner, right? Parked it. Smelled the sweet smell of coolant. I popped the hood, and once you know it, I see the Ford Kool-Aid Orange coolant where I saw it before in the valley, right behind the water pump to where that doohickey kind of crosses over into the other pipe that goes underneath the valley of the intake. I'm getting good at this. So I was like, dang. But I also noticed that it was pretty dang dry to where this and this connect like that. It was dry. Just imagine the valley down here. It was dry right here. Dry here, wet here, I could see, correct? And I was also parked on an incline. So my calculations are correct. There's an incline, engine's at an incline. The valley is at an incline, and coolant is going from the back of the engine to the front of the engine and pulling up. Gravity is taking better men than me. Is that the lyrics? I don't know. Anywho, so if my calculations are correct, this valley pipe, there's certain connections here that are leaking. Bang, 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 bang. So you get the point. Again, there's not a lot of information on this so-called valley pipe. I can see the part, it's like $130. The part is like molded plastic. They do make replacements upgraded parts for this that's made out of like aluminum or cast aluminum of some sort. I don't think it's billet because it definitely wouldn't be as cheap as I saw it. So I think it's leaking somewhere in here and slowly running down to the front of the engine. Now, why I also think this is because this car has sort of a service history. Service history, of course, all Jaguars do, especially within the coolant realm, because these cars kind of stink at that. They're excellent when they work, except when everything starts cracking and getting brittle. This is a 15-year-old car now, almost 16, so it's to be expected. I saw in the Carfax before I owned it, that this car had a water pump replacement. Fantastic. It's a common problem, and I think that was probably at 50, 60,000 miles. This car now has 121,000 miles on it. How about that? Good job, Jaguar. So, me thinking it was a water pump, which it could be, I replaced the water pump and the gaskets and the O-rings on this doohickey. But being a mechanic and also in other people's pockets, owners' pockets, they wouldn't take the preventative maintenance and take the intake off and replace this really dry rotted, crappy plastic by Jaguar or Ford. I mean, it could be Ford. A lot of people blame their problems on Ford. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think this has finally given out. Now, in order to test these results, I'm going to pressure test this with just the simple Harbor Freight kit that I bought. And we're gonna see if we can hear any hissing or any or see any coolant start flowing to the front of the engine. And I'm gonna try to jack up that rear of the engine, the rear of the car, so that I can see the coolant flowing to the front. If it's that, the whole intake has to come off, and that is potentially an easy job because it's more, back, and you don't have to cram your hands in between the cross member of the radiator and the front of the engine and take off coolant pipes, get your hands all greasy, and take off the belt. So hopefully it is this so-called valley pipe. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully this helps you guys who are working on your XK. Bam! Pittsburgh radiator pressure tester kit. I forgot how much I paid for this, but this has a lot of doohickeys in it, as you see. Dang, a bubblegum wrapper in here. Yeah, this is pretty universal for anything. It has your, typical ones like this for your more classic kind of cars, and then the more weird ones for weird cars like this one, and then your little pump pressure thing. Also, these ones, I think these are kind of like a make your own kind of doohickey. You got a real specific one. Anywho, let's pop this thing on and see if we can get to looking what the heck's going on here. Okay, and I just drove it in here maybe like an hour ago, and as you see, there's no pressure, which usually kind of relieves itself halfway to when you unscrew this. It goes like tss, which is really nifty, because then you don't get a geyser of coolant in your eyes. Yes, I forgot which thread this is. I think it might have been this one. This one's already greasy. I mean, that seems pretty taut right there. So that may be the one. I think it is. What's this yellow one? Hey, the best way to try if it actually works is put some pressure on it. Let's see, put some bar in this. Well, there's no hissing coming out of here, so that's good. That means it's sealed somewhat, or else it's totally tricking me. Slowly. Oh, let's get that. Unboxing therapy, there we go. All right, we're over 5. We're about 5 1/4. I don't know how much pressure you gotta pump into this thing, but I'm gonna poke my ear on this side and see if I can hear anything. Well, I can hear a fuel pump. Man, I wish I had one of those little cameras that you stick in there, like a very, very slim one. That's just rainwater, don't worry. Rainwater. Okay, so usually in between here, you can see it. Let me see if I can get the flash and the camera rolling at the same time. Hey, there we go. So you see that? Hopefully that explains a little bit of what you saw on my little whiteboard teaching. That is right behind the water pump to where that little doohickey is. That's right there. Now, why is it all the way up there? It could just be it's sloshing around and doing all that sort of stuff. But hey, wait a second. Sorry, that, hey, wait a second. I got a little carried away. That's just a different coolant pipe that I was looking at right here. I'm going to put a picture in this video of what that pipe looks underneath the valley and where you see where I'm coming from, because I do believe it's made out of plastic, most of it still. But the one the doohickey, you know, the little plastic tube that goes from the back of the water pump to whatever is underneath the valley to the valley pipe, right? From there to there. I'm gonna post a picture right here so that you see what I'm talking about on potential leakage right now. What in the actual crap is this thing? Like, so this is where we started the video, and this is where I'm gonna end the video. I don't know what that was. This will probably be posted to YouTube, which is Holden Built. That's my YouTube. If you're watching from there, thank you for watching. And hopefully you guys are Jaguar guys or just want a good laugh from this sarcastic wittiness video. If you're seeing this on Instagram, thank you for watching. I know some of you guys are true dedicated folks and like to see this sort of content and see me think through this. I don't know, this is kind of getting to a big headache. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more research on this, and I'm probably eventually just gonna take off the intake on this because it's a lot easier than taking off the water pump. And if I do have to take the water pump off again, it's gonna be a lot easier to maneuver in there since the intake will be off. And if it is the so-called valley pipe, then the intake is off and I can just replace it like that. But I've ran out of time today to do that, and I very rarely get the time to relax with my wife too, so I'm gonna go see her. And yeah, this is probably gonna get picked back up on another weekend or a couple hours after work on a weekday. But so far right now, every weekend is full, so you may not see me for another month or two. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you're on Instagram and you randomly see this from a hashtag or pops up on your feed, follow me, because that's great. And I'll probably follow you back if you're like a car guy or post cool stuff, you know. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. This is just my side business, my side gig to where I do sometimes sell my cars. I could never sell this and buy another one for the price I paid for it. So that's never happening. Right over here, hey, Swiss cheese, my 69 Datsun Roadster. I got a lot of parts for this sitting from Rock Auto. I'm planning on rebuilding an engine. Hopefully that will happen within the next couple months. I really want to teach my wife on just basic engine mechanics and putting together an engine. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe she'll be on one of these videos. Yeah, that's back burner. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you later.